Hello everyone, and welcome to a new series of videos with me, Umber Rays. And so today I will be the first video of what I am calling my Japanese life vlogs. So basically, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I didn't have any subscribers back then. So, well, okay, I used to have an old channel. First of all, I used to go under a different name, but I kind of deleted that old channel and now I'm starting fresh. So uh, back when this channel was a couple months older, almost didn't have any subscribers. So I decided not to not do it at the time because I was a little bit more self-conscious and still a little bit nervous about doing this. So we'll see how this goes. First of all, I'm going to readjust this just so it's a little bit more in frame. There we go. I think that looks nicer when it's not interrupting the border. But anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about, I want to do these videos partially for me, partially for you. Maybe you're interested in what living life like is in Japan. So a couple things. First of all, I am a Canadian. I was born in Canada. I was raised in Canada. I spent a lot of my life in Canada. And more recently, I have moved to Japan, where I am here for work. And I've been here for work for almost a couple years now. Some rules about these vlog series so that we just can set some ground rules. First, I will never talk about my work. I'm not allowed to, for one thing, but another thing is I don't want to. While I'm not opposed to potentially showing some pictures or some videos possibly in the future, for right now, I'm definitely not doing that in these videos. These videos are just accounts for me to kind of remember in the future what I thought about at the current time. What else? There was something else very important. Oh yes, the music in the background that I've chosen to just be playing is just the Hearthstone card selection menu music because it's very tranquil and relaxing, and I just wanted some background music. So when I'm going like, what am I supposed to say? We just have some nice relaxing music. Isn't that cool? Also, it won't get copyrighted. Awesome. So about Japanese life. So this first video is not going to be a look back. I'm actually saving a look back of the last 2 years of my life here for when my anniversary happens a little bit later this month. So I will be recording that on that day, but for now, I'm going to just be talking about New Year's. So New Year's, or as it's called in Japanese, Shogatsu, which don't kill me on my pronunciation. I'm only so good. I'm still very, very new at Japanese. So here's my Japanese workbook. Like all the work on that I do on Japanese is kind of in here, kind of just self-taught, not so much doing any coursework because coursework is expensive and kind of difficult to get to some days. But Shogatsu or Oshogatsu is essentially New Year's in Japanese, and in Japan, New Year's is a little bit different from what I've grown up with in Canada. For one thing, New Year's in Japan is really not about New Year's Eve. Now, when I think about New Year's in Canada, it's all about New Year's Eve, fireworks, celebrations, parties at nighttime, counting down to midnight. And that is somewhat a thing here in Japan. It definitely is a thing here in Japan. But what is far more important is New Year's Day, which is actually Shogatsu. And it's a long-standing tradition here in Japan. And it basically lasts from January 1st to January 4th. January 3rd is kind of a holiday, so it ends up being like 3 days in a row off. And for right now, it ended up being a really long weekend for me, which was really quite nice. Like, technically still on holidays here. And to be fair, I actually really like this. I like this a lot more than New Year's Eve idea, because what's the best way to start a brand new year than just having 3 days off to start the new year? I think that's really awesome. Or at least this year, that's the way it fell. So a really, really important thing for Japanese people on this day, on January 1st, is to do what is called Hatsumode, which is visiting a Japanese shrine. And it's really, really, like, if you've never been to a Japanese shrine, most days at a Japanese shrine are, there can be people here and there, but it's not astoundingly busy. Like, it's not, oh my God, there's so many people here. On January 1st, there are a ton. Japanese shrines, especially popular Japanese shrines, are insanely busy because a lot of people do what is called Hatsumode, where they go there, and there's a lot of things to do at Japanese shrines too. There's special foods, there's making prayers for the new year, and like not this year, but the previous year, I was my first January 1st in Japan, and I didn't do anything on New Year's Day. I just kind of stayed home and was like, hey, it's the day off. Just going to rest and relax. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. This year, I actually went to a Japanese shrine because my Japanese was a little bit better this year. Not great, but it was a little bit better. But like, I went to a somewhat smaller shrine, but one of the more popular shrines in my city. And the line was just, it was so busy. I looked around, I took some pictures, and I was like, cool, I'm going to hit it. Also because I didn't really have anything that I wanted to wish for, or nothing that seemed super that important. Like, I'm going to wish for my YouTube channel to hit 800 subscribers in the next month. No, that seems lame. Like, I think there are other people who knew prayers more than I do. And large groups of crowds where I'm the only person that I know are a little bit uncomfortable for me, unless it's something I super, super, super want to do. And since this won't be, at least I'm pretty sure it won't be my last year in Japan, fingers crossed, you know, it's kind of like easing into it. The more Japanese I know, the easier things are to do around here. But Japan is pretty friendly to English people, and most people are fairly polite. The further you are away from a major city like Osaka or Tokyo, the more special you kind of feel, because you know, Osaka and Tokyo and Kyoto are all cities with a lot of foreigners who live there nowadays. So they're less special and less like, oh my goodness, it's someone of a different race. And really, that's totally a minor thing. It doesn't bother me at all. But you do get people who kind of, you catch them staring at you when you're further away from a city, and they're just like, oh, okay. And it's not rude, it's just a kind of a surprise for them. But in general, everyone's really super nice. So I just went for a walk on New Year's Day down to one of the closer shrines, And it was so incredibly busy that I was just like kind of horribly shocked and was like, I'm in over my head. Okay, well, I came, I saw, I left. So that was basically my attempt for the day. Other than that, there's like a whole bunch of different, things. There's like special foods that are kind of more eaten on these kind of days. And when it comes to New Year's Eve, like this year I did my video recording, but also I sat out on my balcony and just drank some sake. And fireworks, it's really an off season for fireworks. Now I know that Universal Studios Japan does some fireworks, so I can kind of see those from where I am. So that was cool. But fireworks, not the biggest deal here. What's really cool is that there is more of a tradition where bell ringing on the midnight of December 31st, where Buddhist temples all over Japan ring their bell 108 times, which is, and I'm going to butcher this, so please don't hate me, Joyokane, to symbolize the 108 human sins in Buddhist belief, and get rid of 108 worldly desires regarding sense and feeling in every Japanese citizen. That's really cool. That's a cool belief. I don't know if it's true. I myself am not particularly a religious person, but I'm open to the concept of religion. Like, I like when religion does good things for people, not so much when it does bad things, like anything. Like, I'm a big fan of this book, except when it gives me a paper cut. You got to draw the line somewhere. And the other thing that's really cool is postcards. Postcards are a big thing. To be delivered or sent out on New Year's Day. Everybody sends postcards. Everybody sends lots of postcards. It is a custom to send New Year's Day postcards where nengato to their friends and relatives, kind of like sending Christmas cards, except it's New Year's cards because Christmas is not the big thing at this time of the year. New Year's is very much the bigger thing, at least from my experience. Something else about these video logs, your Japanese experience may differ from mine. This is my experience from where I am. But there are lots of conventional greetings. Kotoshi mo yorishiku onegai shimasu. I hope for your favor again in the coming year. And by the way, I'm kind of referring to this off of the Wikipedia, just so I have this a little bit more in front of me. Akamashite o medetou gozaimasu. Happiness to you on the dawn of the new year, give or take some words. Or, Kinga Shinen, Happy New Year. Gasho, to celebrate the new year. Geishun, to welcome spring. Even though today it was actually snowing. Yeah, there was a little bit of a blizzard where I was. So that made me feel like, yeah, feels good. Feels like home. So yeah, and so that was New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. How long is this video going? 14 minutes so far. Okay. So the last few days are still holidays in Japan. So the other thing I decided to do was I decided to go into Osaka. And Osaka, if you don't know about Japan, Japan has a really, really big population. According to Google, I want the up-to-date numbers. 2016, it was 127 million people. And 127 million people is a lot of people in a really tiny country. To put that in perspective, like Canada, much bigger country, but the population is only about 36, 37 million. There are a ton of people who live here in Japan, and yeah, when you're in a major city center on any kind of holiday, it can just be absolute, like any weekend is busy, but as busy as the weekends are, it gets even worse on holidays because it can just be so incredibly busy. And that's exactly what Osaka was yesterday on January 2nd. It is so incredibly busy, so busy. And yeah, like there are some sales at stores and whatnot, but for the most part, it is kind of, ooh, my hair is just terrible today. Needs a good wash, which I will be doing after this. But all in all, Japanese New Year's is pretty damn interesting, and I like it. I like the celebration on actually like starting the new year, and as opposed to just celebrating the changing of a number. I like the celebration of actually starting something, which feels just a little bit more interesting in here. But I'm also kind of a fan of Japanese culture, so take that for what it's worth. So yeah, that's I think about it for this video. I'm going to be trying to doing one of these at least once a month, but really it depends a little bit on depends on the month, depends how busy I am, depends what I have to say. And I'm sure there are tons of topics that I could cover. It's just really what I kind of want to talk about. Yeah, so sorry, kind of tired. So that's it for this video, and I will be seeing you all in the next one, which will probably be on my second anniversary of living in Japan. So till then, I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope you find them interesting, and I will see you all in the next one. That went okay. I'm pretty happy with that.